My friend, let me reveal to you a secret so simple the mind may reject it, yet so powerful it governs all reality. You do not win the lottery by taking action. You win the lottery by listening, not to the world outside of you, but to the world within. For the external is merely a reflection, an obedient servant to the voice you honor internally. Sit quietly. Turn away from what your senses say. The numbers, the odds, the bank account. Ignore it all. Instead, begin to hear the sound of your wish fulfilled. What would it sound like? If you had already won, would you hear the newscaster read your numbers aloud? Would you hear the excitement in a friend's voice, the cashier congratulating you? Would you call someone and say, "You won't believe this, I did it"? That sound, that vibration, that inner audio is the only action required. For when you hear with faith, you create. You may ask, "But shouldn't I go out and buy a ticket?" Hear me now. The body will move of its own accord, compelled by the unseen hand of your belief. But if you act with doubt, the action is empty. If you act in faith, it is done. So do not worry about the ticket. Concern yourself only with the state, because when you listen, truly listen, from the end, you shift your entire consciousness into alignment with that outcome. And when your inner world shifts, your outer world must obey. This is not theory, this is law. You are not waiting on the world. The world is waiting on you to hear rightly. So tonight, lie in bed and play the scene again and again. Hear them say it. Hear yourself say it. I won. Let it loop. Let it feel real. Let the sound sink so deeply into your being that your subconscious cannot distinguish it from fact. And in a way you cannot predict, and at a time you do not expect, the miracle will occur. Not because you fought for it or chased it, but because you listened. Listen as though it has already happened, because in truth, it has. Your outer world is not separate from you. It is not some external force acting upon you at random, nor is it the product of luck, effort, or fate. It is and always has been the mirror of your inner voice. That gentle or chaotic stream of thoughts, assumptions, beliefs, and silent dialogues you carry within yourself is the architect of all that you see. You do not live in a world made of matter, you live in a world made of mind. The people you meet, the circumstances you encounter, the opportunities that seem to come out of nowhere, they all arise from the unseen whisper of your imagination. Most do not realize this, so they spend their lives trying to fix the mirror. They struggle with the reflection, not knowing that the source of all distortion lies behind the glass within them. If you want to win in life, yes, even something as unlikely as the lottery, you must stop trying to alter the scene and start transforming the sound playing in your inner world. Your consciousness is like a radio station. It is always transmitting and always receiving. But the frequency you're tuned into determines what you hear and therefore what you experience. If you're listening to thoughts of lack, doubt, and fear, you will only attract situations that reflect those states back to you. But if you change the frequency, if you begin to tune your inner voice to one of wealth, confidence, and certainty, you will start to see your world morph before your eyes. This isn't about daydreaming or pretending. It's about claiming what is yours by nature, the ability to assume a new identity within. And the moment you accept that your inner voice holds all power, you become free, free from effort, free from trying, free from chasing results in the world of shadows, because you now operate from the source. The lottery is not won in a store. It is won in the secret place of the soul. It is not the number that matters, but the consciousness of being someone to whom wealth naturally flows. To change your bank account, you do not need a second job. You need a new sound within. You must hear the world celebrating your success before the world ever knows it happened. So how do you begin? Quietly, with honesty. You listen to yourself, and then you listen for something greater. You ask, what have I been consenting to? What beliefs am I carrying like baggage in my mind? Have I allowed myself to be hypnotized by the so-called facts of the world? Or have I begun to awaken to the truth that the world is plastic and I am the molder? You must take your attention away from what is and place it on what can be, but more than that. Place it on what already is in the unseen. Speak to yourself as one who already possesses what you desire. Do not ask if it will happen, assume it has. Hear the congratulations, feel the joy, play the inner scene until it becomes more real than the outer one. Because once you change the sound within, once your inner voice begins to declare the reality you seek, the outer world will follow. It must. It has no choice. It is not original. It is obedient. You are not at the mercy of chance or the odds. You are at the mercy of your own voice. So speak with power. Speak as one who already has. And most importantly, listen. Listen to the news story being told within, and you will see it performed in your world. There is a truth so overlooked and yet so liberating that once realized, it will dissolve the chains of effort, exhaustion, and striving. That truth is this: imagination is the only action required. In a world that glorifies the hustle and celebrates the grind, this may sound absurd, but reality does not bend to effort. It bends to belief. It responds not to force, but to frequency. And imagination is the tool through which we align with that frequency. You are not here to struggle for your desires, you are here to imagine them into existence. Everything that has ever appeared in your life began with a thought, a feeling, a picture painted quietly on the canvas of your mind. And if you could trace any outcome, good or bad, back to its origin, you would find it was first formed in imagination. The issue is not that people do not imagine. They do. Constantly. The problem is that they imagine what they fear, what they lack, and what they dread. They imagine worst-case scenarios and then live them out. But you are now invited to use imagination deliberately, not as fantasy, but as creation. To win in life, you must go to the end. Not the beginning, not the middle, but the end, the fulfilled state. See the scene that would play out if your desire had already come true. Don't merely see it, enter it. Feel the texture of it, smell the air of it, hear the words that would be spoken to you. Let it be so vivid, so real, that it awakens emotion. That emotion is the signal that you have moved. Most people imagine and then go back to worrying. They slip in and out of states, unsure, unstable. But when you lock yourself into the state of fulfillment, when you return to it again and again like a favorite song, the world begins to reorganize itself around your inner reality. Imagination isn't idle. It is the most potent force in existence. It sets creation in motion. It summons the people, the circumstances, and the so-called coincidences that bring your desire to life. You may ask, but don't I have to do something? And I tell you, yes, you will act, but not as one trying to make something happen. Your action will be effortless, natural, and intuitive. You will be moved by the feeling within. And because your inner state is one of having already received, your steps will be guided without resistance. The action you take will not be for the purpose of achieving your desire, but as a natural expression of already possessing it. There is no need to force. The universe is not responding to what you want. It is responding to who you are. And who you are is defined by what you accept in imagination. If you see yourself as wealthy, successful, loved, and chosen, regardless of what your senses say, then that state must manifest. It is law. You do not need to push the river. You only need to step into its flow. Imagination is not escape. It is the workshop of reality. It is the sacred chamber where futures are born. And when you visit that chamber with consistency, with clarity, and with feeling, you place an unshakable command upon your world. A command that says, "This is who I am now." So stop chasing, stop striving. The prize is not outside of you. Close your eyes, go within. Dare to imagine what would be true if it were already yours. Rest in that vision. Return to it daily. Let it shape your speech, your posture, your decisions. And watch in quiet awe as the world conforms, not to your work, but to your inner knowing. Is not a wish. It is the seed, and once planted in faith, it must grow. Listening is not passive. It is not the absence of doing. True listening, spiritual hearing, is one of the most powerful acts of creation you will ever engage in. To listen from the end, as if the wind already happened, is to align yourself with a version of reality that already exists in the invisible. And by doing so, you call it into the visible. We often think of creation as action, lifting, pushing, striving, struggling, but the most effortless and effective form of creation begins in stillness. It begins in awareness. To listen from the end is to hear what would be heard if your desire had already been fulfilled. What would your friend say to you? What would you say to yourself? What tone would their voice carry? What excitement would fill the room? This is not imagination for entertainment. It is listening to a future reality until it becomes present within you. Listening from the end bypasses the need for evidence. It removes you from the world of waiting and places you in the world of knowing. It says, "I no longer need to see it out there, for I have heard it within." And that hearing, once accepted, is the signal that creation has begun. The world cannot help but comply with the reality you consistently accept. But most people are not listening from the end. They are listening from the middle. They are waiting for results, listening for signs, reacting to what the world says instead of what their soul knows. They listen to fear. They listen to doubt. And in doing so, they amplify those frequencies until they materialize. You cannot tune into two stations at once. If you are listening to lack, you cannot receive abundance. If you are listening to delay, you cannot experience now. So the question becomes, what are you listening to? Spiritual hearing is a discipline. It requires you to turn down the volume of the outer world and tune in to the whisper of the inner one. It means you deliberately close the door on your senses and open the ear of your imagination. And when you do, when you truly hear what you would hear if your prayer were already answered, you enter the most creative state known to man. Creation is not about effort, it is about assumption, and the fastest way to assume a new reality is to hear it until it feels normal. Hear the congratulations, hear the joy in your own voice, hear the quiet knowing that says, "Of course it happened. It was always mine." And once you hear it clearly, once it no longer feels strange but natural, you have planted the seed. You do not need to beg, you do not need to chase, you only need to hear from the end. And hold that sound within you. Let it become your background music. Let it color your mood, your walk, your words. The world will not know why you seem different, but you will. Because you are no longer listening to the noise of the world. You are listening to the voice of fulfilled desire. And that voice creates. So stop listening to what is. Listen to what is becoming. Listen to what already is in the higher realm and bring it into form by your faith. This is not fantasy. It is law. You are not hoping for a miracle. You are aligning with one that already exists. You don't win by doing more. You win by listening better. The inner sound is the blueprint. When you hear the victory within, the outer world has no choice but to echo it. For life is nothing but the mirror of the sound you accept as truth. And the most sacred sound you can ever hear is the one that says, "It is done." The mind always wants to know how. It craves steps, instructions, guarantees. But the creative process doesn't unfold through logic. It responds not to strategy but to alignment. To detach from the how is not neglect, it is mastery. You are not responsible for the method. You are responsible for the inner state. And that state is determined by one thing: how you feel. If you can feel as though the lottery is already yours, if you can dwell in the inner atmosphere of fulfillment, then the bridge of incidents, however strange, unexpected, or miraculous, will form beneath your feet. But the bridge is not your concern. The conditions are not yours to build. The outcome, however, is yours to claim. Within. To most people, this feels backward. They are taught to map out steps, to plan the path, to predict the twists and turns. But manifestation does not obey the mind's timelines or tactics. It obeys the heart's assumption. When you feel something deeply and dwell in it consistently, it becomes a command, a decree from the unseen. And that decree reshapes the world to match your frequency. Think of it this way. If the lottery win were already yours, how would you feel? Not in theory, but in sensation. Would there be relief, joy, confidence, peace? The moment you embody that feeling without needing a physical reason to feel it, you have entered the state of the wish fulfilled. And in that state, all things are added unto you. You may say, "But I don't know how I will win." That's perfectly fine. You're not supposed to. The power that breathes life into galaxies doesn't need your assistance. It only needs your agreement. An agreement is emotional. Agreement says, "I accept this outcome as real, and I live in the tone of its truth now." That is alignment. That is creation. When you stop trying to figure out the how, you give the universe room to work. You step out of control and into connection. And connection is what brings about results that logic could never construct. People win the lottery with no explanation, no pattern, no system, because life is not governed by probability, but by consciousness. You may feel the temptation to plan, to calculate, to strategize your way into abundance. But the deeper truth is this: everything you seek is already finished. The outcome you desire exists now. It is not being built, it is. And your only task is to join it through feeling, to merge with it in silence, to rehearse the scene of celebration in your mind, not once, but until it feels natural, until the question when no longer haunts you because you've already received it inwardly. This isn't passive, it is power in its purest form. To feel rich without money, to feel chosen without applause, to feel victorious without proof, this is creation. The mind may resist, it will demand evidence, but the heart knows. The heart believes in what it feels before it sees. And that belief is the key. So take your attention off the how. It does not matter. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the awe, as if it is already done. Feel the congratulations in your own being. Hear the voices celebrating with you. See yourself holding the ticket, reading the numbers, smiling with full body knowing. Let your chest expand with the truth of it. Let it become so normal that you stop asking when. This is not pretending, it is possessing. And when you possess it inwardly, the outer world, by law, must echo the claim. Detach from the how, align with the feeling. It is already done. What you consent to internally becomes the law of your experience. Every moment you are granting permission, either to lack or to abundance, to fear or to faith, to delay or to immediacy. You may not realize it, but the world you encounter is not showing you what is real, it is showing you what you have agreed to accept as real. Consent is not passive. It is a quiet, powerful yes, and every inner yes is echoed in the outer world, without exception. If you consent to doubt, your life will deliver reasons to doubt. If you accept delay as inevitable, your reality will stretch and stall, matching your internal timeline. If you believe something is too hard, too unlikely, or too big, then you've told the universe, "This is not mine," and it responds accordingly. You may think life is resisting you, but in truth it is obeying you. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are the author of it. This is not a matter of positive thinking, it is a matter of spiritual authority. You are the operant power in your world, and the signal you broadcast through your inner consent is the magnet of your life. You cannot agree to poverty in thought and expect wealth in form. You cannot entertain conversations of failure, rejection, or scarcity and then wonder why your experience feels so heavy. What you allow yourself to dwell in is what you welcome. But here lies your freedom. Because just as you can consent to limitation, you can also consent to liberation. You can accept ease instead of struggle. You can agree with the idea that things come quickly, that you are already chosen, that money, love, and success are natural to you. And the moment you do, the world begins to shift, not because it changes first, but because your inner atmosphere has. The outer must reflect the inner. That is law. This is why the change must begin in silence. You close your eyes, not to escape the world, but to tune in to the real one, the one governed not by circumstance, but by conviction. You rehearse the feeling of already having it. You hear the compliments, the affirmations, the laughter that follows good news. You nod in agreement with the reality that says, "Yes, I've won, it's mine," and that nod, that sacred yes, is a contract. The world will fulfill it. You must become radically aware of what you are consenting to throughout your day. Are you entertaining stories of delay? Are you nodding along with the voice that says it's too late, too difficult, too far away? Or are you agreeing with the one that knows, deeply, quietly, confidently, that it is already done? Consent is choice. It's not about what shows up in your life right now, it's about what you accept as possible. And possibility bends toward belief. Say yes inwardly to wealth, and watch how quickly things rearrange. Say yes to love, and notice how the world grows warmer. Say yes to winning without needing to justify it, and reality cannot help but comply. The world is not resisting you, it is mirroring your internal agreement. If your experience feels dry, heavy, or disappointing, check the consent form you've signed in thought. What have you been allowing in? What mood have you been marrying? You don't need to force the outer to change. You need only withdraw your consent from what you don't want and give it fully to what you do. The moment you say yes in spirit, the material must follow, not maybe, must. Because your inner world is not just a reflection of who you are, it creates who you are becoming. So withdraw your yes from doubt, revoke your permission for lack, and consent fully and without hesitation to the version of life that thrills you. For what you consent to internally, you invite and eventually experience externally. Not to escape reality, but to enter the true place where reality is formed. Shut out the noise of the visible world and tune your hearing inward, where the true power resides. In that stillness, you'll hear it, the voice, the tone, the sound of your fulfilled desire, and once you hear it clearly, all that is left is to live in it, over and over. That is the secret. There is a sound to success, a sound to joy, a sound to victory. And that sound exists now, not in the future, not in a distant someday, but now, within the theater of your inner ear. Most people are waiting for the outer event before they allow themselves to hear it. But those who create, those who manifest with ease, are not waiting. They listen first. They listen now. And they remain in the sound of fulfillment until the outer must conform. Close your eyes and hear your name being called. Hear the words, "You did it. You actually won. I'm so proud of you." Let them echo not as fantasy, but as fact. Let the tone be real, rich with emotion, steeped in authenticity. Don't imagine flat words, imagine the feeling behind them. Hear the tears of joy, the laughter, the disbelief turned into wonder. Hear your own voice say, "I knew it. I always knew this was mine." And once you hear it, remain there. Linger. Make it your dwelling place. Just as a singer becomes one with a song, become one with the sound of your accomplished goal. Live in it. Walk around in it, build your inner home in it. The more you visit that inner soundscape, the more it becomes your dominant vibration. And once it becomes dominant, the outer world must catch up. Do not underestimate this power. Spiritual hearing is not passive. It is not idle daydreaming. It is construction. Every time you hear the sound of your fulfilled desire, you are laying the bricks of a new reality. And every brick laid in imagination must eventually form in the outer world. For the world you see is only a delayed echo of the world you've built inside. Many spend their energy trying to make the outer shift, chasing, striving, forcing, but the wise turn inward. They understand that true movement happens in silence. You could spend years trying to make something happen out there and nothing would change. But spend 10 minutes deeply immersed in the sound of fulfillment and reality begins to bend. It cannot help it. The outer has no choice but to reflect the inner. So, when doubt arises, return to the sound. When fear whispers its lies, drown it out with the voice of truth. The voice that congratulates, that celebrates, that confirms what you already know, it is done. When circumstances look unchanged, close your eyes and hear the moment of arrival again. Over and over, until it is more real than the current condition. This is not pretending, it is preparation. You are training your system to match the reality you have claimed. And once your inner world is saturated with the sound of fulfillment, your outer world must reveal what you've been hearing all along. You do not beg for the outcome. You don't hope, wish, or wait. You hear. And through hearing, you become. Through becoming, you receive. It is that simple. It is that profound. So live there. Live inside the sound of your fulfilled desire. Don't just visit it once. Return daily, hourly, whenever you feel pulled back into the noise of lack. Let the sound of success be louder in your mind than any report from the outer world. For what you hear within, with faith and feeling, becomes the music your life begins to play. You do not win the lottery by force, by chasing numbers, or by bending the outer world to your will. You win by aligning inwardly, by listening to the sound of fulfillment until it becomes your dwelling place. Every shift begins within. The outer world is simply an obedient mirror reflecting back the inner frequency you hold. When you stop needing action and start embodying the feeling, when you listen as though it has already happened, and when you detach from the method and live in the mood of the wish fulfilled, you invite the miraculous without strain. You are not here to beg. You are not here to struggle. You are here to imagine boldly, to listen deeply, and to consent inwardly to the reality you choose. And once you have done that, you stand still and let the world arrange itself around your inner truth. The win is not something to get, it is something to accept. Thank you for listening. Stay still, stay faithful, and above all, stay inside the sound of your fulfilled desire. Be still. Withdraw your senses from the outer noise and remember this: miracles happen in silence. You were never asked to prove yourself to the world. You were asked to believe. And belief doesn't shout. It doesn't beg. It doesn't explain. It knows. Every great thing that has ever come into your life was born in stillness. Not in the chaos of action or the noise of opinion, but in that sacred inner chamber where your imagination dwells. There in the silence you saw it, and because you saw it, it was. You do not need to announce your vision. You don't have to justify your dreams. That need to explain is the voice of doubt. And doubt is not creative. Faith is. The world will tempt you to complain. It will try to provoke you into retelling your old stories of lack, of betrayal, of hardship. But each time you do, you re-enter the prison of your former self. You keep alive what you wish would die. So stop. Be quiet. Rest in the assurance that your world is reshaping itself even now in ways unseen. The most powerful transformations happen with no witnesses. The seed does not scream when it becomes a tree. The light does not boast when it breaks the dark. Remain loyal to the unseen. Be faithful to your inner vision, and refuse to lower your frequency by explaining it to those who cannot yet see. What is divine doesn't need defense. You are not here to be understood. You are here to create, not through struggle, not through noise, but through the inner silence of knowing. So don't complain. Don't explain, because in your stillness, the miracle is already unfolding. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of power. It is the sacred ground upon which all things are conceived. Before a single word is spoken, before an action is taken, before the world sees even a hint of movement, creation begins in the silence within you. When you close your eyes and shut out the noise of the outer world, you enter the realm where all things are possible. Here the chatter stops, the opinions of others fade, the anxiety that clings to your body dissolves. You return to your source, to that inner sanctuary where the imagination lives and breathes. This silent space is not empty. It is fertile, it is rich, it is alive with potential. It is the womb of creation. In your daily life, you may be tempted to look outward for answers, for solutions, for change. But everything out there is only a reflection, a shadow of what is taking place within. The true movement, the true power is silent. The world is shaped not by those who shout the loudest, but by those who dare to close their mouths and go inward. Those who plant their desires like seeds in the still soil of consciousness. You are given this inner world for a reason. It is your divine tool. And like any tool, it must be used with awareness. The stillness is not to be feared, it is to be trusted. For in silence, the noise of doubt cannot survive. In silence, the mind surrenders and the spirit speaks. To manifest anything, love, wealth, healing, peace, you must first allow it to exist within. You must feel it in your being, even if the senses deny it. That is the true act of faith, to stand in the middle of nothing and feel everything. To close your eyes and know that what you have imagined is more real than what your eyes can see. But you cannot do this when you're constantly reacting. You cannot create when you're explaining yourself, defending your dreams, or complaining about what is. That energy is loud, and in its noise, it blocks the gentle whisper of truth. Silence is not weakness, it is command, it is mastery. The one who can be still is the one who is truly powerful. For they are not moved by appearances, they are not disturbed by delays. They are anchored in the knowing that what has been planted in the silence must come forth in time. A seed does not shout to become a tree. It does not need to argue or prove. It simply rests in the soil and allows the process to unfold. In the same way, your desires do not need to be forced. They need to be believed. Go into the silence. Trust it. Let it be the sacred chamber where you visit your future and feel its reality. Do not disturb it with doubt or fear. Let the silence speak louder than your circumstances. Because in that still, sacred place, the miracle is already happening. There is a quiet voice within you that speaks day and night, shaping your world without ever being heard by another soul. This voice, your inner conversation, is the only true power you possess. It is not the words you speak aloud to impress others, nor the declarations you make to prove a point. It is the silent dialogue you carry within your own mind, the story you tell yourself when no one is watching. That is what creates your reality. You may think that the world reacts to your actions, to your tone, to your effort, but beneath all of that lies something more potent, the vibration of your inner talk. If your outward actions contradict your inner assumptions, the world will always align with the latter. Why? Because creation begins on the inside. Every time you imagine a worst-case scenario, you're not just entertaining fear, you're planting it. And the world, neutral and obedient, reflects back to you the harvest of your planted thoughts. Likewise, when you nurture thoughts of confidence, peace, success, and love, those invisible seeds begin to push into form, appearing as opportunities, relationships, or breakthroughs. You are the one who sets the tone of your life, not by shouting affirmations into the void, but by quietly agreeing with the truth of what you wish to see. If, in your secret moments, you believe you're not enough, then no compliment or achievement can fill that void. But if, in your deepest silence, you walk in the feeling that you are already who you desire to be, then nothing can stop that from becoming true in your outer world. Your inner conversation is your prayer. And prayer is not begging, it is alignment. It is the assumption of the wish fulfilled. It is the act of stepping into the state where your desire is already real and dwelling there, not just once, but repeatedly, persistently, until the outer world bends to match the inner world. Most people live backwards. They wait for the world to show them something good before they feel good. They wait for someone to love them before they feel lovable. But the one who understands the power of their inner talk knows that it works the other way around. You feel it first, and then the world shows it. You declare it within, and then it must come to pass. What are you saying to yourself in secret? Are you comforting yourself or criticizing yourself? Are you affirming your worth or questioning it? Are you living from faith or from fear? These are not small questions. They are everything. Change your inner conversation and you change your world. Start speaking to yourself with love, with certainty, with vision. When you rise in the morning, speak as the person you wish to be. When you face a challenge, whisper the outcome you desire. When you are alone, walk in the awareness that you are not alone. Because the power within you is always listening and always creating. In the silence of your thoughts, your future is forming. Speak wisely, speak lovingly, speak as though your words are commands, because they are. Complaining may feel like release, but in truth it is a trap. Each time you speak of what's wrong, of what hasn't worked, of who hurt you or what's missing, you are not letting go of the past. You are repeating it. You are breathing life into it once more, giving it energy and permission to stay. The words may sound innocent, even justified, but beneath them lies an invisible act of creation. You are planting the very things you wish would leave. The universe does not respond to emotionless facts. It responds to states of being. And when you complain, you are not merely describing your reality. You are affirming your place in it. You are saying, this is what I accept. This is where I live. This is who I am. And by doing so, you set the pattern in motion again. The past does not leap until you stop dragging it forward with your words, your focus, and your identification. Silence is the only cure, because silence does not resist. It does not argue. It allows, and in allowing, it releases. When you resist your circumstances by constantly retelling them, you bind yourself to them. But when you fall silent, not in defeat but in inner assurance, you break the energetic tie. You say with your stillness, this no longer defines me. And in that sacred quiet, space is made for the new to enter. Look around you. All that you call your life is the result of what you once believed and repeated out loud or silently. The cycle of your life turns on the axis of your focus. Complaining is simply a way to keep the wheel spinning in the wrong direction. You must understand the subtle power of your attention. Where it goes, energy flows. And when you keep rehearsing the problem, you are unknowingly asking for more of it. You become the one who waters weeds and wonders why the garden. Let your silence speak of trust. Let your stillness declare your decision to detach from what was. Don't go looking for sympathy. Don't try to win the argument. Don't explain why it's so hard. Just step back, be quiet, and hold to a higher vision of yourself. This is not weakness. This is mastery. Only the strong can be silent in the face of the old. Only the faithful can turn inward instead of outward. And it is there, in that quiet, powerful space, that change begins. Don't wait for the world to give you a reason to be silent. Don't wait for the pain to stop before you stop speaking about it. You stop first. You fall quiet first. And the world will follow. Because when you stop talking about what you don't want, you stop creating it. When you stop explaining your limitations, you begin erasing them. And when you live in the stillness of faith instead of the noise of fear, miracles begin to move. Be still. Be silent. And let the past be past. There is a sacred power in belief that asks for no explanation. It does not beg to be understood. It does not seek validation or agreement. It simply is. The moment you attempt to explain your vision, why you believe what you believe, why you see what you see, you begin to break the spell. You move from the realm of knowing into the realm of doubt. To explain is to ask for permission. It is to seek approval from the world, as though the fire within you must first be endorsed before it is allowed to burn. But true belief doesn't ask the world to believe with you. It doesn't wait for nods or applause. It is enough on its own. You must understand, the vision you carry within you was not given to anyone else. It is yours, tailored for your inner eye, your inner path, your inner purpose. To offer it up for analysis or discussion is to hand over a sacred seed to someone who cannot see its tree, and often those around you will not see what you see, not because they are against you, but because they were not meant to carry your dream. When you feel the need to explain, pause. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Am I sharing or am I justifying? Am I standing in faith or am I trying to convince someone because I fear I might be wrong? Most often, explanation comes from insecurity, a subtle belief that your dream is not real unless someone else confirms it. But belief requires no echo. It needs no mirror. It lives in solitude and grows in silence. The most powerful people in history didn't announce their visions to be judged or dissected. They embodied them. They walked in the feeling of fulfillment long before the world recognized it. You weaken your power every time you lower your vision to make others comfortable. Every time you put words around something meant to be held in sacred silence, you expose it to misunderstanding, to judgment, to doubt. And what is doubted externally begins to chip away internally. If you let it, keep your vision locked in your heart. Let it grow there, free from explanation, free from questions. When someone asks what you're doing, smile. When they don't understand, bless them. You are not here to convince, you are here to know. And knowing is silent. There is a stillness in certainty, a calm in faith. It doesn't rush, it doesn't argue, it rests. And in that resting it creates. Let your actions speak, let your results speak. But your belief, let that remain untouched, unshared even. Because in keeping it to yourself, you are preserving its purity. You are protecting it from the opinions that cannot carry its weight. You are not here to explain the fire. You are here to be the flame. Let others see it when it burns bright. But until then, protect it, nurture it, keep it sacred. Because belief, when undisturbed, becomes reality. Miracles do not arrive with thunder. They do not shout. They do not come wrapped in dramatic signs or loud displays. The miraculous moves in silence, like the unfolding of a flower at dawn or the tide that shifts without a sound. Most do not notice the miracle because they are too busy looking for fireworks, too distracted by noise, or too entangled in the senses to perceive the sacred whisper of change. The truth is this: what appears to be a sudden breakthrough was long in the making. Long in the unseen, long in the silence of your imaginal acts. It is in your quiet inner world, in the still theater of the mind, that miracles begin. You imagine, you assume, you feel, and you persist, and the universe, ever obedient, begins its sacred work. But because the outer world lags behind the inner reality, many grow impatient. They speak against the very thing they once affirmed. They look around and say, nothing is happening, but, oh, something is happening. It always is. You just don't hear it. You don't see the roots pushing through the unseen soil. You don't see the pieces aligning, the energies rearranging, the people being moved into place. And you don't have to. Your only job is to remain faithful to what you've seen within. There is no announcement before the miracle comes. It will arrive in the most ordinary way. A conversation, a phone call, a sudden idea, a shift in mood, an invitation. It may look like coincidence, but you will know better. Because you imagined it, you prepared for it. You lived in the feeling of it. And now it is simply arriving in its own perfect way. If you expect miracles to come with noise, you'll miss them. If you need the world to confirm before you believe, you will be caught in delay. But if you can believe in silence, if you can persist in your assumption without signs, you are aligning yourself with the very nature of how creation works. The miraculous is subtle because it flows in harmony with you. It does not intrude. It does not force itself into your awareness. It reflects, it mirrors, it responds. And when your inner world becomes saturated with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the miracle comes, not as something foreign, but as something familiar. You will say, of course this happened. Because you rehearsed it so often in your mind, it now feels natural. Do not wait for the world to tell you when the miracle is near. The moment you have imagined it and accepted it in your heart, it is already on its way. Trust the invisible process. Remain still. Hold the assumption gently but firmly. Let the world go about its noise. Let others doubt. Let them demand evidence. You don't need to see it to know it's coming. You only need to feel it as real. For the unseen governs the seen, and the miracle is not magic, it is law. A quiet, unwavering law that works without fail. So live now as though it is done. Walk quietly in faith, because when the miracle comes, it will feel like the most natural thing in the world, as if it had always been there, because in truth, it had. Detachment is not the absence of desire, it is the absence of desperation. It is the sacred knowing that what you desire is already yours in the unseen, and therefore you do not chase it, cling to it, or plead for it. You assume it, you live from it. You rest in the invisible certainty that all things are unfolding in divine order. To be detached is to walk through life with an inner stillness, a quiet confidence. You are no longer moved by appearances, by delays, or by the silence of the world. You do not need signs. You do not need validation. You do not need others to agree with your vision, because you have already seen it within, and the inner vision is the only truth that matters. The one who is detached does not beg. Begging comes from a belief in lack. It declares, I do not have, and I do not know how to receive. But detachment declares, it is mine. I need not chase it. I need not explain. I only need to be the one who already has it. This shift is everything. It is the moment you move from wishing to knowing, from effort to embodiment. You become the fulfilled version of yourself, not someday, but now. And because you no longer resist or grasp, your energy becomes open, clear, receptive, the door is unlocked, and the miracle can enter. Clinging is the enemy of manifestation. What you cling to, you push away. What you fear to lose, you never truly receive. But what you detach from, in faith, flows easily into your experience. This is the paradox of creation. The moment you release the need, you make room for the having. Detachment is not cold, it is not indifferent, it is not apathy, it is the highest form of trust. It says, I know who I am. I know what I have asked. I know it is already finished. You walk as the one who is already blessed, already chosen, already abundant. You do not need to announce it, you embody it. And because you no longer chase, the thing you once pursued now finds you. Because you no longer seek from lack, life mirrors your fullness. Opportunities unfold without effort. People show up without you calling. The world arranges itself to reflect your internal state of wholeness, detached from needing it, attached to being it. No one who is certain begs. No one who is full chases. No one who trusts explains. When you detach from the outcome, you are declaring, it is done. You are no longer tied to time, to evidence, to the opinions of others. You have become one with the vision. And that is the secret. You are not here to earn what is already yours. You are here to align with it. And alignment comes through surrender, through stillness, through the peace of knowing. Let go. Stop chasing. Stop needing. Assume the state and rest. Because detachment is not the end of desire, it is the door through which desire is fulfilled. In the silence, everything is born. Miracles are not loud. They do not arrive with noise or demand explanation. They move quietly, obediently in response to your inner world. The one who understands this does not complain, does not explain, does not chase or beg. They rest in knowing. They trust the unseen. They allow life to unfold, not from force, but from the still conviction that it is already done. Detach from the need to be seen, heard, or understood. Detach from the urge to prove or to argue. Walk in silent faith. Guard your inner conversations. Hold your vision sacred. Speak less, imagine more. And when nothing seems to be happening, know that everything is. Because the silent ones, the ones who trust and wait and feel from the end, they are the ones through whom the impossible becomes inevitable. Thank you. Close your eyes. Forget how long you've tried. Forget the chase. Forget the fear. Sit still, because in this stillness, the power awakens. You were never meant to chase money. You were meant to remember that it chases you. The world has lied to you. It taught you to work harder, to struggle, to suffer for every penny. But the truth is far more simple. Reality is not outside of you, it is born within you. And if you can feel something internally, consistently, unshakably, then the outer world has no choice but to follow. You win millions not by toil, but by listening. Listening inward. Listening to the voice that says, it's already mine. Not someday, not with effort, now. Do you hear that voice? It's the sound of wealth that's already yours. Not something you're trying to create, but something you are remembering. You do not need permission. You do not need more time. What you need is to accept the unseen as real, to honor the invisible riches with your attention. When you sit in the quiet and feel the joy of already possessing it, you planted the seed. And it grows whether you watch it or not. Stop asking when, stop checking how. That is not your job. Your only task is to remain faithful to the feeling, to the state, to the inner conviction. You may think nothing is happening, but it is. Invisible arrangements are being made. Doors are opening where before there were only walls. Resources, opportunities, and unexpected channels are lining up to meet you. And all you did was listen. So today, stop trying, withdraw from the world, sit down, listen inward, imagine fully, feel deeply, accept completely. The millions you desire are not coming, they are here. Just listen. Your outer world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Everything you see, experience, and touch is a reflection of your inner state of being. This is the first truth you must accept if you are to win millions without lifting a single finger in desperation. The world does not respond to effort, it responds to consciousness. Your consciousness is the only cause. You may have been taught that action creates wealth, that hustle leads to abundance, and that only through grinding can you attain financial success. But observe closely. Many toil without reward, and many others, seemingly doing little, live in extraordinary wealth. Why? Because it is not the action that matters, it is the state from which the action springs. One who embodies the state of wealth will move to do only what aligns with that wealth. One who feels poor within will only attract more lack, no matter how hard they try. Your state of consciousness is your constant prayer to the universe. It is not your words, not your effort, but the feeling that you carry as your identity. If within you identify as someone who lacks, who hopes, who waits, then your world must reflect that identity. If instead you embody the consciousness of someone who already possesses wealth, who expects miracles, who feels the reality of abundance now, then your world has no choice but to yield to that feeling. You win millions by accepting that you already have them in consciousness, not pretending, not fantasizing, but truly feeling, knowing, and dwelling in the truth that you are already wealthy. When this is done correctly, something quiet but profound happens. Your actions become effortless, inspired. The right people show up, the right doors open, and it feels as though you didn't try at all. Because you allowed. Trying is resistance. It says, I am not yet there. It implies lack. But allowing, embodying the state, says it's done. And what you assume as done must by law unfold. Your assumption, when held with inner conviction, compels the world to reflect it. This is not fantasy, it is how life works for those who know. Think of yourself not as someone who is striving for millions, but as someone who already has them. How would you feel? How would you wake up in the morning? How would you carry yourself? Would you worry about bills? Would you chase after opportunities? Or would you simply choose the ones that excite you? Step into that self now. Breathe like them, walk like them, think like them. Not to pretend, but to become. This is not about being delusional. It's about recognizing that the power was never outside you. The outer world is a shadow. The inner world is the light. Change the light, and the shadow must follow. You don't fix the mirror to see a new face. You change your expression. So change the expression of your inner world. Live in the consciousness of abundance, and the millions will not be a reward, they will be a reflection. You are not waiting for them, they are waiting for you to awaken. There is a hidden power that many overlook, a force so subtle and yet so commanding that it moves mountains without lifting a finger. That power is effortlessness. You have been conditioned to believe that results only come through hard work, that success is born out of struggle. But the truth is, the greatest transformations, the most miraculous manifestations, do not arise from strain, they emerge from assumption, from the quiet inner knowing that what you seek is already yours. Effort is often the language of doubt. It says, this is hard because it's not yet mine. But effortlessness is the language of belief. It says, this is easy because I know it is already done. When you assume something to be true and dwell in that truth calmly and naturally, without tension or worry, you activate a law far more powerful than brute force, the law of assumption. This law responds not to what you wish for with desperation, but to what you accept without resistance. You must understand that trying too hard is a confession. It exposes that within you you do not believe, and so the outer world listens to that inner confession and mirrors it back. You struggle because your belief is not yet firm. You reach because you still think you're lacking. But the moment you stop trying, something changes. When you drop the need, when you let go of effort and step into the ease of belief, you send out a different signal, a signal of ownership, of certainty, of calm possession, and the world bends to meet it. Effortlessness is not laziness. It is not passivity. It is alignment. When you are truly aligned with the desire, when you feel it, live it, breathe it internally, then the outer world begins to move with you, not against you. Actions may still occur, but they arise naturally, without resistance. They flow from within you like breath, not like burden. You are moved, not strained. You don't manifest by force. You manifest by identity. And once you assume the identity of the one who already has, your path clears itself. Life organizes around your state of being. People show up, ideas arrive, opportunities unfold, not because you fought for them, but because you finally became the version of yourself who attracts them. Imagine standing on a riverbank trying to push the river to flow faster. That's effort. That's how most people live, fighting the current, trying to manipulate the flow. But the one who knows the power of assumption simply steps into the stream and allows it to carry them. That is effortlessness. That is power. Everything you desire is already yours. in another dimension of consciousness. You do not need to force it into being. You only need to assume its presence so fully that the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. The assumption is the seed, and belief is the soil. In stillness, in confidence, in effortlessness, the seed takes root. So stop striving, stop wrestling with life. Let go of the urge to prove or to push. Begin instead to assume. Quietly, naturally, as if it's the most normal thing in the world. Because when you do, you unlock the power that never needed effort to begin with, the power of effortless becoming. In the stillness of your mind, a quiet voice is always speaking. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg for attention, but it shapes the whole of your life. This is the inner ear, the place where you listen not with the body, but with awareness. And what you hear in this silence, you live. What you accept inwardly, even without evidence, becomes the blueprint for your reality. This is why your inner conversations are so powerful. They are not merely thoughts. They are instructions, whispered commands that the outer world must obey. Most people live by reacting to what they see and hear outside. They allow the noise of the world to dictate what they believe is possible. But the wise person turns inward, listens differently, and hears what cannot yet be seen. They know that true creation begins not with action, but with silent agreement. What you agree to internally, you bring to life externally. You may not even notice the dialogue running within you, the quiet assumptions, the rehearsed fears, the imagined confrontations, but these are seeds, and they grow. If you constantly rehearse lack, fear, or doubt in your inner world, then do not be surprised when these very things appear in your outer life. Life listens to what you hear in your own silence. Life becomes what you assume in your heart. But there is a greater power, one that is always available to you. It is the power to listen anew, to turn your ear away from the noise of doubt and tune it toward the voice of possibility. What does your future self sound like? What are they saying? Can you hear the gratitude in their tone, the calm certainty in their words, the ease with which they speak of things you still call dreams? That voice exists now within you, and if you can hear it, truly hear it, your life must rise to match it. The key is not to fight your current reality. It is to listen beyond it. When you close your eyes and choose to hear a different outcome, when you carry on inner conversations where you are already successful, already loved, already abundant, something shifts. You are no longer waiting for the world to change. You are changing the world by what you are willing to hear within. Your inner ear hears the future because it creates it. This is the secret few understand. It is not about forcing the outer to bend. It is about persuading the inner to believe. And once the inner accepts it as real, the outer cannot resist. So take time every day to become still, to listen not to the past, not to your worries, but to the version of you who already has what you seek. Carry that conversation with you. Repeat it until it feels natural, until it feels inevitable, until it feels like truth. And when it does, you'll see it reflected everywhere. Because life is not echoing what you say with your mouth. It is echoing what you say in silence. Listen differently, and life will obey. To bring your desire into form, you must go beyond thinking, you must feel. Not in some distant future, not as a hope, not as a wish, but as an emotional reality already present within you. The truth is simple, yet profound. You do not create from logic, you create from emotion. The world does not respond to your words or plans. It responds to your state of being. And your state is shaped by how you feel. If you can live in the end emotion now, the world must mirror it back to you. So many people approach life with calculation. They measure, analyze, and strategize their way toward their goals. But the deepest manifestations do not come from calculation, they come from embodiment, from allowing yourself to fully feel the reality of your wish fulfilled before there is a single trace of it in the physical world. When you do this sincerely, the entire structure of reality bends to meet your assumption. Ask yourself, what would it feel like right now if you had already received the millions you desire? Not in fantasy, but in truth. How would your chest feel? Would there be a sense of relief, joy, gratitude? Would you move through life with more ease, more calm confidence, more playfulness? That feeling, that emotional atmosphere is your signal to the universe. It is not pretending, it is choosing to dwell emotionally in the end, even when the facts do not yet support it. Facts are not final, they are reflections of former states. Do not worship what your eyes show you, instead use your imagination to taste the unseen. Logic tells you to wait until it's real, but manifestation requires that you feel it real first. Emotion precedes form, always. When you live in the end emotion, you bypass resistance. You no longer beg or strive. You rest in the assurance that it is done. This rest is not passivity. It is power. It is knowing. It is an inner calm so solid that the outside world begins to shift just to stay in harmony with your inner stance. Think of yourself as a sculptor. The clay is your current life, and your hands are your emotional states. If you want to sculpt a new outcome, you must mold your emotions to match that desired shape. The moment you feel it is already yours, without needing proof, you have started the rearrangement. Life will respond, people will shift, ideas will emerge, coincidences will accelerate, not because you chased them, but because you aligned emotionally with the end. That feeling sends out an invisible thread that weaves itself through time and circumstance until what you felt becomes undeniable fact. So today, do not wait for something to change. Go there now, inwardly. Feel the joy of financial freedom, the excitement of abundance, the security of knowing it is already done. Let it rise in you as naturally as breath. Dwell there, stay there, not for a moment, but as your home. Live in the end emotion and watch as the world moves to match the truth you chose to feel first. Imagination is not a child's toy, nor a fleeting daydream. It is the creative force of reality itself. Everything you see in the outer world began in someone's imagination. The phone you hold, the house you live in, the life you lead. All of it was first imagined, first conceived in the unseen realm of thought and feeling. If you can see it inwardly, feel it deeply, and listen to it clearly within, then you already possess the seed of its manifestation. What you accept in imagination, without doubt or hesitation, is destined to unfold in time. Imagination is not fantasy. It is truth at a higher level. It is the invisible blueprint from which the visible world takes shape. The moment you construct a scene within your mind, one rich in sensory detail, one alive with emotion, and accept it as real, you begin to impress it upon the subconscious. And once the subconscious accepts it, the world must reorganize to express it. There is no power in idle wishing, but there is unlimited power in vivid emotional imagining. To merely hope is to place your desire far away. To imagine with conviction is to bring it close. To live from the end as though it were already yours. This is the secret most overlooked. You must not just think of your desire, you must think from it. You must dwell in the state of already having. Your imagination is the gateway to that state. It allows you to rehearse, to embody, to experience in advance. And once you have done so inwardly, you need not worry about how or when. The how belongs to the universe. Your role is only to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and remain loyal to that unseen reality, no matter what your senses may say. When you create an imagined scene, see it through your own eyes. Make it vivid. Where are you? Who is with you? What are you doing? What are you wearing? Most importantly, what do you feel? Because it is not the image alone, but the feeling it evokes that imprints itself upon your future. You may say, but it's only in my mind. That is the greatest lie of all. The mind is the birthplace of worlds. Everything that exists was once invisible. Everything that now seems real was once only imagined. Your future is not coming to you from the outside, it is flowing through you from within. Each time you enter your imagination and walk in the reality of your desire, you step out of limitation. You bypass the logic of your current life. You override the facts that try to hold you back. In imagination, you are free. Free to create, free to feel, free to assume, and therefore free to manifest. So do not dismiss what you imagine. Treasure it, revisit it, enrich it. Let it become so familiar that it feels more real than your current surroundings. Let it be the state you return to in quiet moments, the place you go before sleep, the inner scene you live from rather than look toward. Because once you've accepted it in imagination, the journey is already complete. The rest is just the unfolding. You've walked through the gateway, the outer world will catch up. There is a force in stillness that the busy mind will never understand. While the world rushes and shouts and scrambles for control, the still one simply sits and commands. Not through effort, not through words, but through presence. A still mind does not chase outcomes. It becomes the center from which outcomes must arise. In that quiet, everything aligns. This is the secret. The quieter you become inside, the more clearly reality listens to you. Stillness is not the absence of thought, it is the absence of resistance. It is a calm inner knowing that does not argue, does not doubt, and does not strive. It accepts the end as done and rests there. The one who is still has already won, not by fighting, but by choosing not to fight. When you are still, you are no longer reacting to the world, you are creating from within it. You cannot command reality through noise. You cannot beg your way into abundance or worry yourself into peace. Those who carry anxiety in their hearts send out a signal of lack. But those who sit in quiet certainty, in the deep knowing that their desires are already theirs, shape the world around them. They do not need to convince. Their state of being is their instruction to life. There is immense power in simply being, in trusting without needing evidence, in relaxing into the truth that what you seek is already yours in the unseen, and stillness is the doorway that opens it into form. When you are still, you are not waiting, you are embodying. You are standing in the fulfillment, unmoved by what your senses report, because your inner eye sees clearly. Think of a calm lake. When its surface is undisturbed, it reflects the world perfectly. Your mind is the same. When it is still, it reflects the truth of your desire without distortion. But when it is disturbed by fear, by overthinking, by the need to control, it cannot mirror your wish clearly, and so manifestation delays. Stillness is alignment. It is when your inner world is not in conflict with itself. You are not thinking one thing and feeling another. You are not affirming with your words while doubting in your heart. You are simply in the knowing, the state of I am, where nothing more needs to be said, In that state, the world yields. You do not need to chase success. You need only to be still in the awareness that you already are successful. The outer conditions are only a shadow. The real substance is within. Sit in that truth. Let the noise pass. Let the doubts dissolve. Just listen. Just know. Just be. Do not underestimate the force of silence. It is not emptiness. It is power at rest. It is confidence without the need to speak. It is manifestation without struggle. Those who master stillness move mountains without lifting a hand, because they move them from within. So return to that quiet space within you often. Let it be your home. Let it guide your every step. For the one who is still inside does not ask the world to respond. They know. It already has. The secret has never been in trying harder, but in turning inward. The millions you seek, the peace you crave, the life you desire, they are already yours in consciousness. You do not need to chase them, you need only to assume them, feel them, imagine them, and rest in the stillness of knowing they are done. Your reality is not shaped by effort, but by inner conviction. When you live in the end, remain still, and listen deeply, the world must follow the command of your inner state. All things are responding to who you are being within. Just listen, just feel, just be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And most of all, thank you for believing in the unseen power that lives within you. There comes a moment in your life when you must decide whether you will continue explaining your dreams to those who cannot see, or begin living as though they are already real. You are not here to be understood by others. You are here to awaken to the power of your own inner world. You see, every time you explain yourself, you slow the movement of the unseen forces that shape your world. You dilute the purity of your desire by filtering it through the opinions of others. But creation is not democratic. It is divine. It does not wait for approval. It responds to assumption. Stop justifying your vision. Stop defending your path. Stop asking others to validate what your inner being already knows to be true. The one who manifests miracles is the one who chooses silence over explanation, alignment over approval, faith over proof. When you hold firmly to a state of being, not hoping, not wishing, but knowing, reality bends to your inner conviction. The world, though appearing solid and external, is but a mirror reflecting your dominant assumption. You don't need to convince anyone. What you need is to inhabit the end of your desire. Ask yourself, if it were already true, already done, how would I feel? How would I walk? How would I speak or rest or think? From that state, you no longer need to argue for your limitations or present your case to the world. You simply become what you wish to see. And in that becoming, miracles unfold. The miracle is not the thing, it is your shift in awareness. It is the inner silence that says it is done and waits for no applause. It is the refusal to explain your transformation because you understand that only you are the author. So stop explaining, begin imagining, dwell in the state of your fulfilled desire, and let your new world rise silently around you. Let the miracle be your only explanation. You owe no one a justification. You owe yourself a vision fulfilled, and so it is. The more you explain, the more you delay. This simple truth often goes unnoticed because we are conditioned from childhood to seek approval, to defend our choices, to make ourselves understood. Yet in the realm of creation, this habit is a weight that slows your becoming. Every time you find yourself explaining why you desire what you desire, why you think the way you do, why you have chosen a particular path, you are really saying, I do not fully believe in it yet. Explaining is not power. It is hesitation dressed in reason. True creation does not plead for validation. It declares, assumes, and then rests. But when you explain yourself, you are subconsciously asking for permission to be who you already are within. You are waiting for someone else to co-sign your identity before you step into it. And as long as you need someone else to understand it, you are still on the outside of your manifestation, not within it. There is a silent strength that comes from inner conviction. A man or woman who knows who they are does not need to defend it. They move through life with an invisible authority. That authority comes not from arrogance, but from alignment. They are aligned with the state they have chosen. They live from the end, and therefore, they don't need to explain the journey. When you explain, you are reinforcing the idea that what you desire is separate from you, still out there, still not fully yours. You are identifying with the version of yourself that does not yet have it. You are trying to make others understand what even you have not fully claimed, and in doing so you delay the manifestation, because reality responds not to what you say, but to what you embody. The universe is not listening to your words, it is echoing your state. And your state is most clearly seen, not in your declarations to others, but in the quiet knowing you carry within yourself. You do not need to convince the mirror to reflect a new image. You simply change the one who is looking into it. The world will follow. Silence is not weakness. In the spiritual sense, it is power. To move silently, inwardly assuming the state of your desire, is to operate from the highest level of creation. You don't need to announce your transformation. You only need to live it. The moment you stop explaining yourself is the moment you start claiming your miracle. Think of the seed planted in the soil. It does not explain to the ground what it is becoming. It simply becomes. It knows. And through its quiet knowing, it breaks through the surface and blooms. You are no different. If you want to manifest faster, stop explaining. Let go of the urge to be understood. Let the desire live within you, undisturbed, unchallenged by the doubts of others. You do not need their belief, only your own. Stand firm in your vision, speak less, assume more. Embody your desire and let the world adjust to the new you. It always does. Consciousness creates reality, not justifications. This is the eternal truth that governs all manifestation. You are not required to explain why your desire is valid, why it makes sense, or why it should happen for you. You are not here to make a case for your dream as if standing before a court. You are here to embody it. You are here to live it. The world does not respond to your explanations. It responds to your state of being. Many people spend their energy defending their dreams rather than dwelling in them. They believe if they can explain it well enough, if others understand, approve, or applaud, then it will somehow make the dream more possible. But this is backwards. The creative power of life is not activated by the mind that justifies. It is activated by the consciousness that assumes. And assumption is silent. It is not concerned with logic or the opinions of others. It simply is. When you begin to justify your vision, you subtly announce that you are separate from it. You are saying, I must earn it. I must convince someone, maybe even myself, that this is acceptable. But creation requires no justification. It only requires alignment. If you desire to be wealthy, loved, free, successful, your task is not to explain why. Your task is to become that version of yourself inwardly and to dwell there with faith. You do not need to explain the steps, predict the process, or secure outside agreement. All you must do is assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That assumption, when held with sincerity and persistence, transforms into experience. Life molds itself around your dominant inner reality. It always has. You are not waiting for the world to approve of your vision. You are commanding it into form through consciousness. This is not arrogance, this is spiritual law. The one who lives as if their dream is already true walks differently, thinks differently, sees differently. They do not worry about how it looks to others. They know reality must bend to their state. They know that everything outside is only reflecting what they accept within. And so they spend no time in debate. They simply live the end and let the rest unfold. When you stop justifying and start assuming, your life becomes a mirror of your belief. You will find that things begin to shift, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically. People change, circumstances rearrange, opportunities appear. Not because you begged or reasoned your way there, but because you chose the higher reality and stayed faithful to it. Let this be your reminder. No one needs to understand your path. You are not here to win debates about what is possible. You are here to walk in the possibility as if it is already fact. You are here to experience your vision, not argue for it. Stop explaining. Start embodying. Let your new state speak for itself. Because once it becomes your dwelling place, reality has no choice but to follow. Silence is power in the invisible realm. In a world where noise is celebrated, where everyone is quick to speak, defend, and declare their position, there is a rare and sacred strength found in the one who remains still, the one who speaks inwardly, not to impress others, but to impress truth upon the deepest layers of their being. The silent assumption, the quiet inner knowing, has more creative force than 1,000 words shouted into the void. True manifestation is not about loud affirmations or dramatic displays of faith. It is not found in convincing others of what you are becoming. It is found in what you confidently affirm to yourself when no one is watching. When you say within, "It is done," and you mean it, something shifts. Not outside of you, but within. And that shift is what the world must eventually echo. What you speak outwardly may influence others, but what you speak inwardly shapes you, and it is you that creation listens to. Life responds to your inner dialogue, your habitual thoughts, your persistent assumptions. When those assumptions are built in silence, undisturbed by the need for validation or applause, they become unshakable. They are not ideas you are trying to believe. They are realities you have already accepted. Think of the seed planted in the soil. Its most important work is done in complete silence, beneath the surface, invisible to the eye. There is no noise in its growth, only certainty. It does not announce its root spreading or its stem rising, it simply becomes. So too must you go within and plant your assumption in silence, not to convince, but to create. Because the invisible realm responds not to volume, but to faith. You see, when you declare something loudly to the world, often it is to cover your doubt. But when you declare it silently to yourself and rest in that inner knowing, there is no doubt to hide. You are no longer trying to believe. It is now your truth. You walk differently. You think differently. You radiate something others cannot explain. And that radiance does not come from explanation. It comes from alignment. Let the world wonder what you are up to. Let them ask, how did this happen? Your answer need not be spoken. Your life will reveal what your silence has already claimed. That is the true miracle. It doesn't require noise. It requires agreement with the unseen. So withdraw your energy from trying to be understood. Pour it instead into understanding yourself, into aligning your inner voice with the vision you hold, into creating from stillness, into becoming the one who knows that silence is not emptiness. It is the space where all things are formed. Say within, I am already it, and then say no more. The universe does not need your explanation. It only needs your decision. When your silent word becomes law within you, the outer world must obey. The power is not in your speech, it is in your state. And that state is forged in the quiet, invisible realm where miracles begin. Others can only see what you show within. This is the silent law of all experience. The outer world is a mirror, not a creator. It does not shape you, it reflects you. It cannot believe in your dream unless you first believe in it. It cannot see your vision until you've lived it inside yourself. And so, the habit of waiting for support, for approval, for applause is futile. The world cannot offer you what you have not already offered to yourself. You are never meant to convince anyone. You were meant to become, and when you become, the reflection changes. When you shift your concept of self, when you say inwardly, "This is who I am now," and you persist in that self-image, the people around you must respond accordingly. They don't do so out of agreement. They do so because they have no choice. Life is a mirror. It does not argue, it reflects. This is why waiting for others to believe in you is a trap. If they cannot see your greatness, it is not their vision that is lacking, it is your own assumption that needs strengthening. If they doubt your dream, it is often because you still carry doubt. If they question your path, it may be because part of you is still seeking permission to walk it. But once you become fully convinced, you will find that others either align with your new state or they fall away, and either outcome is a gift. Do not concern yourself with who sees it now. It is not their sight that creates you. It is your inner conviction. You are not manifesting their belief. You are manifesting your own becoming. And once you have become, once you have stepped fully into the identity of the one who already possesses the thing desired, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself around that truth. There is no need to chase, no need to explain. The ones who must see it will. The ones who cannot were never meant to walk that path with you. Your work is not to gather believers. It is to believe in silence and show it through the life you embody. When you live it inwardly, you radiate it outwardly, and others, knowingly or not, respond to the frequency you carry. Everything begins within, not just ideas, but identity. You must decide who you are, you must assume it in the unseen, and you must persist even when nothing outside reflects it yet. That is true faith. Not waiting for evidence, but being the evidence. Being the change. Being the answer. Stop waiting for the world to recognize your light. Become the light. When you become it, recognition becomes irrelevant. Fulfillment comes from being, not from applause. The joy is not in being seen. It is in seeing yourself clearly and walking boldly as the one you have chosen to be. Others will come to see it. Not because you made them, but because you became it. The world cannot help but reflect your inner reality. So change yourself first. The rest will follow. It always does. Live from the end, not from explanation. This is the sacred key. The one who truly understands the nature of creation does not feel the need to map out every step, convince others, or even convince themselves. They assume the end and live there now. They no longer look for signs or ask how it will happen. They have moved into the knowing that it already has. That is the difference between hoping and creating. The person who has it doesn't waste energy explaining. They are not busy defending their desire or trying to figure out the process. Why? Because you don't explain something that already is. You don't explain the sunrise, you watch it rise. You don't explain a miracle, you live inside its beauty. And when you live from the end, from the state of already having, you've stepped into the only place where manifestation becomes inevitable. The one who lives from the end walks differently. Their conversations are different. Their energy changes. They are no longer seeking, They are choosing. They are no longer asking, they are receiving. They no longer try to get there because they know they already are there, within. And because life is always echoing your internal state, the outer must reflect what is already true inside. When you begin to explain your desire, you reveal uncertainty. You suggest that the outcome is separate from you, that there's a gap between who you are and what you want. But when you assume the end, when you dwell in the state of already being it, already having it, already living it, you collapse that gap. You erase the separation. You say within yourself, this is mine now, I am this now. And with that assumption, creation begins. There is no magic in explanation. The world doesn't respond to how clearly you can define the path. It responds to how deeply you've accepted the end. All things are born from a state of consciousness. If your dominant state is lack, even the most logical plan will not yield results. But if your dominant state is fulfillment, even the most unlikely path will open. Do not concern yourself with how. That belongs to the realm of uncertainty. Concern yourself with who. Who are you now within? What do you believe about yourself? What feeling do you carry? The one who already has the thing does not wonder, they assume, they live, they embody. And so must you. To live from the end means to carry the feeling of your wish fulfilled in every moment. You do not wait for the outer to confirm it. You walk as if the outer already has. You begin to think like the person who has the thing, speak like the person who owns the dream, and feel like the one who no longer needs to ask. You become the answer. When you live from the end, the world reorganizes around your assumption. The people, places, and events that match your new state begin to appear. Not because you chased them, but because you aligned. You became a vibrational match to your vision. That is where miracles begin, not in explanation, but in embodiment. So release the need to explain, to justify, to be understood. Choose instead to live from the end. And in doing so, watch your entire world conform to the image you silently accepted within. Miracles require no permission. They are not democratic events decided by group consensus. They do not wait on the approval of friends, family, or society. A miracle is born the moment you decide, without apology, without delay, without explanation, that your inner reality is the only truth you need. You were never meant to convince anyone of your worth, your vision, or your destiny. You were meant to create. And creation does not plead, it declares. There is a great freedom in realizing that you owe no one an explanation for the desires of your heart. What you want is sacred. It is yours. And it doesn't need to be logical, practical, or understood. Desires come not from reason, but from spirit. They arise because they already exist in potential, waiting for you to claim them. But the more you try to justify them to others, the more you delay their unfolding. Miracles do not thrive in the presence of doubt disguised as explanation. Stop asking the world to understand you. The world is not your source, it is your shadow. It reflects, it does not lead. And the moment you stop trying to be understood is the moment you open the door for divine movement. The universe begins to respond not to your arguments, but to your alignment. Not to your reasoning, but to your resonance. It doesn't ask for proof, it asks for permission from you, and only you. The greatest shift happens when you give yourself that permission. When you say, I no longer need anyone to believe in me, I believe in myself. When you stop waiting for the world to catch up and instead start living from the place where your desire is already real. That decision is the turning point. That inner yes is what the universe listens to. And once it hears it, it begins to organize every detail, every encounter, every opportunity to meet you at the level of your assumption. Convincing others is a distraction. It keeps your attention turned outward when all true change begins within. You were not created to explain your greatness to people still doubting their own. You were created to embody it. Quietly, boldly, fully, and in doing so you give others silent permission to do the same, not by your words, but by your example. Miracles happen in silence, in stillness, in surrender to what already is within. They happen when you choose faith over fact, feeling over fear, and imagination over explanation. You do not need to tell the world you're changing. You need only to change. You need only to assume the role of the one who already has it, already is it, already lives it. The world will notice in time, but it doesn't have to. You are not here to follow the rules others made from their own limitations. You are here to break through them by choosing what feels impossible and claiming it as inevitable. The miracle is not something you earn through effort. It is something you accept through assumption. It's not the result of permission. It's the result of presence. So stop explaining, stop asking, stop waiting. You already have everything you need. The universe is not withholding. It is waiting. Waiting for you to drop the mask of needing approval and step into the power of already being. And when you do, the miracle is not delayed, it is revealed. You were never meant to explain your power, you were meant to embody it. Every time you choose silence over justification, assumption over doubt, and the end over the explanation, you align with the truth of who you really are. You are not here to seek permission. You are not here to convince the world. You are here to create, to manifest miracles through the silent knowing that what you desire is already yours. Stop explaining yourself to people who cannot see what you already know. Let your inner world lead. Live from the end, speak only when it aligns with your vision, and let your life become the evidence. Miracles don't come when you're understood. They come when you understand the power you hold within. Assume it, walk in it, and watch the world reshape itself to match what you have claimed in silence. Thank you. Thank you for walking this journey inward, where your silence becomes strength and your assumption becomes reality. The miracle is already here because you are.